Hello and welcome to the festive edition of So Bad It's Good.
Can you not be a bit jolly about it?
It did sound a little bit like you were at a funeral.
Hello and welcome to the festive edition of So Bad It's Good. On today's show, we have watched Saving Christmas.
Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas.
Putting Christ back into Christmas.
Someone's gotta.
What are they going to do next? Tell us hot chocolate's bad for us? The Druids invented it?
This film, and I'm going to do that a lot,
Should we get him a mic stand?
Hold on, can you just do that? And then I'll just place them in.
So yeah, this film starts with a prologue before the main film starts properly. And it's Kirk Cameron, who is the star, I guess.
I admit it. I love everything about Christmas time. I love the cookies. I love the fire. I love the presents.
What is this?
It's a little sermon before the bigger sermon, because what this film actually is just an evangelical sermon for about an hour and 20 minutes.
There's some people who would love to put a big wet blanket on all of this. They don't want us to love Christmas so much and celebrate it the way we do.
He also talks about people who are okay with you having Christmas and being Christians.
But they put a wet blanket on it.
But they put a wet blanket on it by saying, tone it down a bit. Don't be so excited about Christmas.
I don't want to hear Mariah Carey.
I don't want to hear Mariah Carey.
Well, tis the season.
Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Tis now.
Tis is.
At time of transmission. But recently I got in the car. It was
The old
November and Mariah Carey was playing. I don't want it. I don't want Mariah Carey anymore.
Okay, let's carry on with this, please.
I didn't understand any of what he was talking about there.
Droids, chocolate, unhealthy.
Droids?
He said droids, like the hot chocolate. He said druids. Droids.
So the film starts at a party, and we meet Christian, who is Kirk Cameron's brother-in-law. Christian is kind of a Scrooge-type character. He doesn't like Christmas. He doesn't enjoy it.
And when we see someone struggling around Christmas, we should reach out. Hey, Christian!
He's going to be hanging.
He's not interested. He doesn't like Christmas, so he disappears off to sit in his car outside on the drive.
Hey, do I need to break some legs? Is he not treating you right?
No.
Because I'll take him out in the back right now.
No, he's fine, really. He's not.
That came off weird.
Take him out there, pull down his pants and show him his boss.
And then Kirk Cameron, being the charitable champ that he is, he goes out and finds Christian sat in his car.
Hey.
I was wondering where you were.
At that point in the film, I thought, respect to you, Christian. You're at a party that you don't like and you've had the balls to just walk out and sit in the car. There's been times in my life where I've wished I had that sort of courage.
Kirk, before he gets in the car, declares that Christian's in need of an intervention, and intervenes he does.
I'm the big centerpiece of all of Christmas, and Santa's over there and over here. Oh, let's just put Jesus in the
If I was him, I'd get out of the car.
right there.
That's not what I got in for. I thought you might have been in there smoking a joint or something.
Yeah, turns out you're really shitting on my vibe.
We're having an existential crisis about Christmas, and then I'm fucking stuck here listening to it when I could be in there. I didn't even bring my hot chocolate with me.
Christian explains that he doesn't like the modern way of celebrating Christmas. He doesn't like seeing bratty people just clamouring for gifts, and doesn't like that they just spend all this money that could be spent elsewhere.
To a certain degree, he is not wrong.
How many kids could we have fed? How many wells could we have dug?
Are you fucking serious?
Christian feels that Jesus has been pushed out of Christmas in favour of Santa Claus, Christmas trees, and rampant consumerism.
And he's right.
And he is right. Kirk at this point starts to have a slight wry smile on his face, like an
Yeah.
insufferable little prick.
It's almost like he'd been researching just for this conversation. And he's like, oh my God, this is exactly
What
my
I'm saying,
time. I'm
Bob.
going to shine.
But this is all wrong.
This is all wrong.
No. You're all wrong.
You're what, you prick?
Which I think, again, is a brave move considering you're sat in the car with a man who sounds like he's about to walk into his own Christmas party and kill everyone.
Kirk essentially is saying that everything about Christmas is to do with Jesus. Everything.
Yeah.
Santa, Christmas trees, all of it.
Does he literally just list off everything like mince pies,
Well,
holly?
No, we
or
don't
does
go
he,
into...
does he just give us a highlights reel?
Well, it's only the big things, Dave, you know?
Big things. Hit me with the top three.
The Nativity.
Kirk starts to explain about the nativity scene.
Close your eyes and visualize this.
Okay, right.
A baby is born.
Oh, fucking leave it out.
Oh, yeah. Even on the second watch, couldn't fathom what point he was trying to make. He kind of just said that it's all about Jesus. He kept going on about swaddling cloths for some reason.
Yeah.
And that Jesus was born into a world that didn't want him, and then he died.
To think that it's only valuable because the baby Jesus is there misses a huge part of what's going on.
I'm going to play a game on my phone.
If anyone out there has watched this and could understand, like, let us know what his point was, because I couldn't figure it out. I even rewound it and was like, I couldn't
I
figure
watched
out.
it a lot more intently than I would on any other film because I was trying to pick up very specific messages of what Kirk Cameron is trying to say in this film. And that bit, I watched a few times, couldn't decipher what the message was.
Christmas tree, not in the Bible.
I understood this one.
We all understood
I mean,
this one.
this one's
It's
explained
a ride.
in sort of plain English. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's bonkers. The main issue that Christian has with Christmas trees is that they do not appear in the Bible. And he sort of implores to Kirk, please show me where Christmas trees are in the Bible. But again, old cheeky chappy Kirk is going to tell us why you're wrong.
Hit us with your wry smile, Kirk.
With some really tenuous links.
You're anxious because you can't find it in the Bible. Well, let me help you. When God created the world,
God apparently created trees, therefore all trees are Christmas trees, according to Kirk. And he says that God dragged a tree into his house. Again, I don't know how he knows this. He never actually references how he knows anything.
When God created the world, he filled it with trees. He hung fruit on the trees. When it was time for him to build his house and make it beautiful, God brought trees inside.
Christmas trees are Christian, and they're not by the Druids. It's got nothing to do with the Druids.
Yeah, he gets a bit angry about the
He
Druids,
does
doesn't
get a little bit angry.
Yeah.
One of the earlier sort of criticisms that Christian had was that Jesus' birthday wasn't the 25th of December.
And the early church had plenty of good reasons to celebrate the birth of Jesus on December 25th, and it had nothing to do with the winter solstice. By the way, last I checked, it was God who made the winter solstice, when he set the planets on their path around the sun.
He then brings in sort of the winter equinox and the winter solstice.
And he says, because God created that, he did it.
God created the planets, therefore the solstice is about God.
It's like having an ace and no one else does, and going, no matter what you say, God created it.
Adam stole the fruit from the tree in the Garden of Eden, and he ate it. And he says that, you know, when you steal something, you should return the thing that you've stolen. But Adam couldn't. So what happens, right, is that Jesus decided to put himself on the tree.
Jesus put to death on a tree.
No, that's such a stretch.
So Kirk is saying that because the Romans decided to crucify Jesus on a wooden cross, therefore Jesus has put himself on a tree.
Are they stealing the fucking car? Come on. Come on.
I wish that Christian had just turned around and said, what about tinsel, you prick? What about that?
You just say God made the material that tinsel is.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, but that is the line of logic we're having to deal with.
It's amazing. Can you imagine thinking you're right?
Well, I mean, you're saying it. That's how, like in the Middle Ages, that's how people ruled.
That is, yeah.
They said, I'm king. Why? Because God said I am.
so.
And if you don't do what I say, I'll brutally murder you, and that'll be okay because I'm the messenger of God.
I'm safe in saying that there is no Santa Claus in the Bible.
Christians' objection to Santa Claus, that Santa is not a religious figure, he's not in the Bible, he is some pagan figure.
And the name is very close to Satan.
Santa, Satan, same letters. Right. Coincidence?
He specifically mentions that it's the same letters. Yeah.
Clocked it.
Let me tell you about the real Santa Claus.
The real, yeah. Just found out. I have, yeah. News just in. So how does old Kirky boy explain Santa Claus?
Hold on. I see his face. Whoa. Oh, I see his face.
He says, look, here's a fucking bag of cocaine. Just do it. Just do the line. We'll go back in and we'll have a great Christmas.
Kirk then explains or tells us all about the story of St. Nicholas. Very common source of Santa Claus. Kirk's version of this story goes along the route of St. Nicholas. He was a Christian bishop. He had a lot of money that he'd inherited when his parents died. He gave a lot of his money to the poor, and he was also famous for giving gifts to children.
Let's go bless some kids tonight. We've got gifts to give.
Pretty much in the wheelhouse of the story we know of St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
Not that we know that story was true. For some history, St. Nicholas became quite revered across Europe many centuries later.
So his name was translated.
So his name was,
other
I think it
versions.
was Santa Claus, which means Saint Nick, I think, or St. Nicholas. This is just the St. Nicholas story, fairly commonly accepted.
Didn't he have a sword at some point, though?
Possibly.
He killed someone in this.
Now, of course, not everyone at the council was happy with his less than jolly actions.
St. Nicholas was at the first council of Nicaea when the church was deciding, essentially, if Jesus really was the Son of God. Kirk explains it.
Put the heretic Arius to shame, not only by word, but also by deed, smiting him on the cheek.
St. Nicholas beat the living tar out of him to defend the honour of Jesus. According to Kirk, this is all in the official records. St. Nicholas is never mentioned in any writings by people who were actually there.
Those were difficult and desperate times. Truth was on the line, and it was not the time for this pastor to go soft on truth.
So he got away with killing a man because he's got money and gave people presents. Sounds like Escobar.
Lists of bishops from the meeting don't state he was there. He is mentioned as being there, but by late unsubstantiated claims, and I'm talking like hundreds of years later, saying that he was temporarily defrocked and imprisoned during the council for slapping the heretic Arius.
Oh, look who it is. Better? You get that out of your system?
Another story, funnily enough, this came much later as well, that he resurrected 3 children who had been murdered and pickled in brine by a butcher planning to sell them as pork during a famine. Those stories, that one, obviously, and the one about him being at the council slapping a dude, all came hundreds of years later.
Are we not going to mention the pickled children again?
It's not real. It didn't really happen. I don't doubt that St. Nicholas existed. It's just whether these stories actually happened, bearing in mind a lot of these stories popped up a few hundred years later.
Santa is the man.
Kirk re-enters the party like a man reborn.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene,
literally, there's symbolism in that.
he's taking in this new Christmas scene with fresh eyes.
Oh.
And then Kirk comes up behind him, puts a little hand on his shoulder. It looks a little bit creepy. And then it's almost like you can see Jesus enter Christian.
I didn't see that version. Oh, that didn't look like that was fun.
I mean, he ain't moving that far. Barely touch this. Oh, danger money. Ha! Can I get an amen? That's scales are falling off. Glory, glory.
I feel sorry for the kids.
He apologises to his wife, declares that actually he wants to show his love for everything by having some kind of breakdancing competition.
Fire in here, God Squad, you know how we do. Ooh, Marshall.
Oh my life. It's gonna end. It's gonna end with a dance number.
It is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, everyone's involved.
And this is probably the bit that I took biggest umbrage with.
I don't know what's coming next.
No, neither do I.
Kirk starts giving us another little sermon again. Don't worry about the materialism, because Christmas is the celebration of the eternal God taking on a material body. So it's right that the holiday be about material things. So what Kirk is trying to do is justify rampant capitalism through Christmas. It's fine if you want to spend all your money on pointless gifts for people, because actually all those presents represent Jesus, or are little symbols of God and Jesus everywhere. So
What?
go out and spend your money like a good little pauper, shuffle it up the chain to the rich people, because God wants you to. That's what this film is trying to say.
I don't understand why that's caused you such offence, given that what he's basically doing at the end of the film is just giving everyone an out and saying, don't feel bad about spending money on Christmas.
The thing that annoys me about this film, this dude, right? It's his house. It's his party.
It's his wife's party.
They put up more Jesus.
Stuck in the corner will be a little snow globe, a little nativity scene. You don't really see it, and it's a trinket. While a big old Christmas tree just, look at it, on the big tree.
But I think it's about what everybody else's expectations of what
Who
Christmas
cares?
should be.
It's your house, you fucking wet fart.
True.
Put up Jesus if you want more Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
And say, you know what? I bought the tree because it's all fine with the commercialism, but I've got a big fuck-off statue of Jesus out the front that everyone has to look at before they walk in.
Budget for this film was $500,000. At the box office, it made $2.8 million. So it's quite a return, and they've made a fair bit of money.
That's almost 6 times the investment. That's
Yeah.
a good amount of money to make back on
It is.
anything. It feels like a church group has made a movie. But it's a church group not made up of movie makers.
If you look at the credits of this film, there's a lot of the same last names.
There was a Sharon Shannon there. Interesting fact, it was the first Christmas movie to win Worst Picture at the Razzies.
To be fair, that is actually incredibly fair.
Where's in the Bible?
No one should ever watch this. Kirk Cameron, you might be a lovely man. Just enjoy Christmas, man. Just enjoy Christmas. I mean, actually, he made a lot of money. It worked. So he's done his job. He's still making money. Well done. It's awful. 0. Never watch it, ever.
Do we need to mention that Kirk Cameron was in Full House for a lot of episodes, and that's why it's Kirk Cameron?
You just did it. You nailed it.
Well done.
It's a 0 from me as well. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's badly acted, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. You regret putting it on. I regret not protesting harder that we should turn it off.
Serious, we're watching this.
It is boring. It's just a bad film. It's not very well acted. It's not very well written. It's a bit like Clockwork Orange. This is what this feels like. I've had to sit here and I've been forced to watch this. Don't watch it. 0.
So Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas gets a 0. What a shitty Christmas. Merry Christmas. I hope this brings someone some sort of joy. I'm sorry. The next film's going to be a banger, I promise you.
Hopefully this brings some kind of joy. Chris, what should they do if they like this?
Nothing. Because I want you to enjoy your Christmas. I appreciate that I come at you with these sort of slices of fried gold of marketing advice for us on Bad Time Babble. And I'm sure you go out and do all of them. I'm sure you do.
I better hope not.
I think most of our viewers are in America, so probably
Yeah, I've
we're
noticed
far
that.
enough removed that perhaps we won't get in trouble for it. But
Maybe we won't.
fingers crossed. I want you to subscribe, like, share, do all of the things that will...
I know I just said all that. Maybe make your own crackers.
Oh, God.
Right? Just put some marketing material of ours in a cracker and then hand them out to your family. Bish, bash, bosh.
Most sensible suggestion.
That was
ever.
amazing.
It was. It's a Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
Oh my God!
I want to take it back now because you said it was too sensible.
No.
No.
How about you shit in the turkey, and then when you carve it in front of the family, and they say, "Why does this turkey smell like shit?" You say, "Some guys on the internet told me to do it." They also make quite entertaining videos. I think you should check them out. And then they will be compelled to find out who suggests such a thing, and then they will stumble across us. I mean, hopefully your family don't then call a doctor to have you taken away.
No, because we'll lose a subscriber.
Click like
Just
and
this
subscribe, ding the bell first before you do any of that.
Yeah, of course.
And then we've got them subscribed, and they actually, we're in a better position because they can't unsubscribe because they've not got access to YouTube anymore.
Merry Christmas.
Ding dong. Merrily high. I don't know what.